My friend
Yeah.
Melissa here. You're so in high demand these days. It's. I had to fight like with a sword to get 30 minutes of your time, which I really appreciate. So thank you very much. How are things going? How are you doing?
Pretty good. Enjoying a few days at home before the next trip, and then another few days at home before the next tour.
You're busy. Last time I saw you was in Finland. You guys had just performed at Sari Helveti. You
Mm.
guys barely made it there. So it was a little bit of a nightmare, but it was so nice to see you guys perform live.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a crazy trip. I mean, for the guys, it was easier than for me, but I arrived 30 minutes before stage time on the island. So it was like, okay, let's go.
And I know some of the guys were not feeling well. They were sick. They were under the weather, so it was tough for you guys to get there. But you got there, and it was a great show. I had a great time. So it was so nice to see you. And now we're here to talk about a new record. I don't know how you guys are able to do this, but I don't know if you've done the math. You guys have released like 4 records in 5 years.
Yeah.
You've taken 1 year off, and you've
Yeah.
been like, are you going to be able to keep up?
I think we will take a bit more time between Abyss and the next records, to be honest. I think mostly the first records came one after the other because of the pandemic. We couldn't tour for the first 2.5 years of existence of the band. So we had plenty of time at home to be creative. Um, Abyss comes shortly after Downfall because we felt the need of writing something new that really represents the band where we are right now and our influences and tastes for music. We really wanted to offer something new also because we had the our first North American tour, and we felt the need of releasing some new material for this. And then you know we just, I don't know, we felt creative and we just made another record, but I think there's going to be more time until the next one, to be honest.
Because otherwise, you guys are going to burn out. I mean, I don't even know how you guys have time with all the shows, all the touring to keep and making music. Now, let's go back a little bit. If we go back to 2020 when you guys released Chapter One, and if we look at the new record now, or at least if we look at the singles that you guys have released from the new record now, it's clear
Yeah.
that there's been a development and there's been a
Yeah.
growth and there's been changes in the sound and in the way you guys present yourselves as a band. How do you address that development? Is that the development that comes from yourselves as individuals that then gets represented into the music that you're creating?
I feel like for every single person in the band, taste changed between the first record and the fourth record very, very. I won't say drastically because it was like kind of gradually that we changed our sound, but like for this fourth record, it was very clear to us that we wanted to do what represents us. And and back in 2020 when we wrote the first record, I mean we wrote it before 2020, but like when we wrote it, we had different influences, we had different tastes in music, and when we started to evolve a little bit, we started to think like, okay, we want to implement more modern elements, but we don't want to estrange people who listened and loved our first record, and we wanted to keep some of like a continuity that makes sense. So we had still symphonic elements. We had more modern elements, especially with Downfall, and we kind of mixed our current influences with where we started. But with this fourth record, we decided to only do what makes sense for our songs. We decided to only put orchestrations or elements of orchestrations if they serve the song and not because we started as a symphonic band. And so we kind of quickly realized that very, very little symphonic elements made it into the fourth album just because they didn't make sense. And we, with like cleaning up our sound, we were able to create more dynamics, more power, and to leave more space for each element and give more space for each musician to shine.
How much of this band's development it's tied in, for example, to your own personal development? Because where you were in 2020 as a singer, as a musician, as an artist is very different from where you are today.
True. I think honestly, I think it's a mix of the four of us because um I mean, you can hear a lot of differences in the way I sing, but you also can hear differences in the way everyone plays. And it's always a group decision, the direction of the album. So I wouldn't say that it's just a personal development. I think that everyone in the band has different influences. And for example, that when we were driving to a gig, the kind of music that we listen in the car represents very much what we're writing right now. And it's very different to what we were listening to in 2020.
Well, that to me is it's super interesting. Now, since you have that development, since you have that growth, did that impact the way you approach an album from a creative standpoint in terms of how you address, what you work on, what the guys work on? Did then any of the background work change, considering that what is being presented has changed?
The way we work has changed already since the third record. We used to work mostly exclusively actually remotely for the first and second record. Now we do a lot all together in the same room. We started this already for Downfall, where we met for 1 week, and for Abyss we met actually 2 times, where a lot of the stuff that we created happened in that room, because there's just something different when the four people with the skills of each individual are at the same place and creating at the same time and not remotely. So I would say that's the main thing that's changed, and that's helped create the sound of the new record.
How much of this sound now do you see carrying you forward? Do you see a continuous evolution, or are you happy with where you are now and you find room within this sound to be creative, but within the walls of what it represents?
I think this is something that we will carry on for the next records, because we're very happy um, with how it sounds and with how it feels to play on stage. For example, you were mentioning the show in Finland. Um, it was one of the first shows where we played, I think, My Halo. No, actually, it was the very first show where we played My Halo, because the first time we played it together was during soundcheck. And there's just something about these songs that feel right when we play them on stage. And when we listen to what we've done, and I think that at least for the foreseeable future, that's where we're heading.
The last two album titles, I mean, the last one and this one, have a little bit of a darkness to it, Downfall, Abyss. Like, ooh, it's all like this dark feel. But when you listen to the music is very uplifting. There is a sense of hope and maybe a light at the end of the tunnel. So for this specific album, where did the inspiration for the title of the record come from?
It's interesting that you see it as uplifting, because when you dig into the lyrics, there's a lot of darkness to it. Maybe Downfall was a little bit more uplifting. I agree with that. Abyss, what we wanted to do is, first of all, we wanted to step away from the chapter 1, 2, 3 and the historical themes, and to use a lot more of personal experiences, personal feelings, for both the lyrics and the songs themselves. And we decided to use human emotions as the main fuel also for the lyrics this time, rather than base it on something else that someone else experienced, someone else's life. And when we decided this, we wanted to, at the same time, we decided to open a new trilogy, and to connect it not only with the lyrics and the music, but also with the visuals. So first of all, the lyrics, these human emotions, we sort of sorted them into 3 albums, and Abyss is the one that is the darkest, the one about self-doubt, fears, demons, second guessing and all of that. And then you evolve towards something brighter. And then, like I was saying, the visual aspect of the albums is also connecting everything. Like, for example, if you've watched the videos, and I know you have, you will see elements in one video that you find in the next one and evolving into the next one. And this is something we wanted to do throughout the 3 records, as well as with the artworks. So when we started working on Abyss, we had to sort of make a map of the next 3 records to give this to the video director, Mirko, who's taking care of all the videos, to Stefan Heilemann, who's taking care of the artwork, so they could like create within mind the full story. And same for us while writing the records.
You talk about Abyss and the themes of self-doubt and the darkness that comes with it. When I see you guys on stage, all of you, you seem very strong, very empowered. At least that's the message that you put forward. When you look at the dark side of yourselves, of your own personalities, of your demons, of the things that you struggle with, being on stage, is that a persona that you guys create, or is that the better version of yourselves?
I think there's always something that happens on stage that, you know, when you have this rush of adrenaline, and you're doing what you love, and no matter how difficult one period in your life can be, the moment when you arrive on stage, there's this thing happening between the people on stage, the audience. I don't think it's a persona, because I think like if you meet us in person, we're not completely different. Of course, we're not as energetic all the time, but no, I think that this the darkness that we were talking about in the lyrics is something that everyone experiences at some point in life. No matter how happy you can be today, people have their demons, their doubts, and I'm not immune to this. And I feel like having the opportunity to let this out a little bit in this album was great. With, you know, with no boundaries of, oh, I have to learn about the life of this person, and to sort of follow a something that's been written not by me.
Yeah, a more strict guideline.
Yeah, exactly.
It also allows you to be a little bit more in touch with what you're singing, because now you're not singing about somebody else. You're really singing about your own personal experiences, which brings a whole different emotional aspect to the vocal delivery. And that takes me to my next point. How was for you recording the vocals on an album that has this more personal touch compared to the previous ones?
um I think the recording part is easier, because when I'm in the studio, I'm focusing on the delivery and on the details, and I'm nerding about nerding out about my voice, and like the techniques and the little things that I can do, like little ear candies. I think it's more like I feel more vulnerable when I have to explain, or when people talk about it or ask me about it, and I'm like, they're like, what is this song about? And I'm like, you know, this is the moment where it gets more vulnerable. In the studio, it's fine, it's all fun and games. And also there's like 2-3 people maximum, so yeah.
It's all fun and games until somebody loses an eye. So, considering your incredibly busy schedule over the last 4 years, I mean, you've been doing so much stuff, not just with Ad Infinitum, but other projects, other bands. I mean, everybody wants a piece of Melissa, because you've become such a hot commodity. Considering like how talented you are, I'm just surprised it took other people so long to see, which some of us had seen a very long time ago. But we're visionaries, and the other ones are just following, jumping on the bandwagon. So considering how busy you have been and the great things that you have done, how much working outside of Ad Infinitum has brought quality to what you can now give the band?
I think, you know, especially working with bands who are bigger, who have more experience, who have like, I don't know, bigger productions, it shows you what you can do with your own band. And it's like every little piece of experience that you can take from a band that's been touring for years is good to take, both in their glory, in their struggles, in the, you know, the little things that happen on tour that are both positive and negative. All this experience is very valuable. And also simply for the voice. Like I think that through the tours, my voice also evolved a lot, and I know more about what I can do. And also something that I have to mention is like touring with other singers brings you to another level in terms of understanding of the voice, when you take the time to really have conversations with some people, especially with more experience. I'm thinking about Tommy from Camelot, who actually I had this mind-blowing experience where he was giving me some advice for some warm-up stuff, and thanks to this I've had this moment of unlocking a new level of my voice with some particular technique, and I was like, wow, that actually feels great. So the experience of people is like the best thing that you can take away from this.
I know you also involved in that voice technique camera thing that Elizabeth and the charismatic voice are doing.
Yeah.
How exciting is for you to be a part of a project like that, to try to discover a little bit more about all, like she says, the fleshy bits that make the noises in the singing apparatus that you guys put forward. Are you excited about that project?
I'm super excited. I'm also a little scared. I've seen the videos with Will Ramos, and I saw his reactions to the different how do you say, tests that were performed on him, and I was like, oh, that's gonna be fun. I'm gonna see how my pain tolerance is. But also like very honored to be part of something like this, um, and to also learn a lot of things about both the voice and also about myself. Um, there's a lot of very experienced singers and who've been touring also a lot more than me, who are participating to this, and it's going to be also interesting to see like the different approaches and the different like how it goes for everyone. So yeah, very excited.
Yeah, I got a feeling like even though we're all human and you guys are all doing similar things, I think we're going to get different results from person to person. At least that's what I'm thinking.
I think so too, yeah. And it's just a beautiful project. Just yeah, just that it happens. It's great. And I feel like a lot of people, especially like me, I've been singing for many years, but I don't have a full understanding of what's going to be presented in here. So it's going to be just interesting also on the personal level.
Yeah, I'm dying to see what the end results are going to be, and the videos of all of you squirming and in pain, and because
Needles.
it doesn't look pleasant. Like I also saw the Will
Don't
Ramos video and it looked like, ooh, I don't know, man. Seems
don't
rough.
scare me, please.
uh, Going back into less scary things, which is this record, and specifically with the singles, I get asked this all the time, because people know that I get the albums beforehand. I hear the albums and all of this stuff. So the question I get asked on comment sections all the time is, do the singles paint a vivid picture of what the record is? So I'm going to let you answer that question. What do you feel the singles represent?
I feel like the first two singles represent the album very well. The third single represents the most dairy part or edgy part of this record. Um, with Surrender, it was really like, let's just have fun and publish this as a single because it's one of our favorite songs, and whatever people say, they will say. We cannot please everyone, that's for sure. The the fun part of this is that there's a lot of people, a lot more than we expected, who said, wow, this is refreshing, like a band who tries to explore and just have fun. And then the first two singles, I feel like they represent very well what people will find in the record, in terms of yeah, songwriting energy and all that. So yeah, Surrender was definitely the special one, the special kid.
You guys have such a great vibe, all of you guys together. It's hard to find a band where everybody seems like they're having such a good time all the time. You guys are just like, at least the experience that I get when I see you is just a group of friends that happen to make music together.
Yeah.
But the friendship aspect comes before the music aspect, which I think adds great energy and great vibe to the way you guys put songs together.
Yeah, it's always a team effort, and always, we have a lot of consideration for each other. So we try to make everyone happy, like in the sense of there will not be a song that goes out with someone who was completely against it or someone who was unhappy, or it's always a team effort, and we try to make everyone shine. And also in the way we present the band, it's always like it's not just um me and whoever is playing instrument. I was saying this like just a few minutes ago. It's not me and whoever is behind the instruments. It's like there's four individuals who are skilled and who have their own personality and looks, of course. No, I'm joking. um who needs to all to shine and together as a team. It's just fantastic. It's just so much fun when when touring so much with people. You have to get along, or it's a very, very long road.
I was going to say, but you could tell you guys all get along because when it comes to the music videos, it's not like it's just your face in the video and we just hear everybody else, but we don't see anybody else. Everybody gets their 15 seconds of fame.
Yeah. We tried from the beginning, and that's also why we dropped the masks at some point. We were like, we want people to see everyone, and we want also the eye contact and the exchange with every single person in the band, because a lot of people can really connect with, oh, this drummer is amazing and I'm a drummer too, or I'm it doesn't have to be a drummer, but like some people connect with each musician for their own reason, and we wanted to give the best um possible potential to everyone to do that.
Yeah, the best version of yourselves. Last quick question for you, and that is, I know you've been touring in North America quite a bit. I mean, you guys played at Prog Power last year. You've been doing tours here and there, but what I'm looking forward to is a more extensive tour where Ad Infinitum perhaps even plays Toronto, because you guys have never played in Toronto. You played
Yeah.
Montreal, but you didn't play
Yeah.
Toronto.
Yeah.
Any plans for 2025 to come into North America on a more extensive tour?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, there's a plan, and I don't know exactly how. Like, it has to get more, to be set in stone before we can really talk about it. Also, I don't like to create false expectations. That's the main point. But it seems like there's a good chance we will come back very soon. And I don't know exactly the routing, but I think there's gonna be a few Canadian dates.
I'm keeping my fingers crossed for a Toronto date. I mean, like I saw you guys in Atlanta, but I would love to see you guys perform in Toronto. And believe it or not,
Yeah.
there's this place that I go to every so often. It's a Pancake Factory. One of the waitresses, they have different styles of pancakes, right? Like so you can go crazy, like all different kinds of like over 100 different kinds of pancakes. So I go there
Love it.
once in a while. As you can tell by my face, I love pancakes. So and the waitress there is a huge fan of yours and a huge fan of the band, like massive.
What a coincidence. I'm a huge fan of pancakes.
So there you go. So when you play in Toronto, there's a place where you could probably eat for free.
We don't need to eat for free. We can just like have a good time. You know what? It would be even better if we have a day off either before or after, so we can just like like
I'll
try
drive
all the
you.
pancakes.
I'll drive you there. I'll make sure she's working. What a surprise it would be. We would have to record this because her face, her jaw would probably like drop. Every time I go there with my wife, she always asks me about you. She always asks me about the band. When are you guys playing? I told her that we saw you guys in Finland. She was very jealous. So she's a massive fan of you guys. So just wanted to share that with you, just for you to see that you guys have fans everywhere, even at a
That's
pancake place.
so cool. It's so funny because, for us, how it feels is we're still this new band. And when you tell this, it's like, oh my God, say hi to her, and we'll try to meet her at her Pancake Factory.
Melissa, thank you very much for your time. I always enjoy talking to you. It's always a pleasure. Best of luck with the release on October 11th on Napalm Records. Abyss comes out at Infinitum. Thank you very much for your time. Take care.
Thank you. Have a good time as well. And thank you for having me again. Always very nice to chat with you.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.